Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're taking a deep dive into Europe's forecasted weather extremes. We're looking at July 4th through 13th, 2025. We've gathered some key reports, from the ECMWF, Copernicus, WMO, and, well, a few others, all kind of pointing towards what's coming.
Yeah, and what's truly crucial here, I think, is how these immediate sort of short-term forecasts, they really give us a glimpse into a much larger trend. Our goal, really, is to pull out the most vital insights, help you grasp the high probability of these widespread heat waves across a lot of Europe, and at the same time, this risk of severe storms brewing over in West Russia and the North Caucasus, and what it all signifies, in our rapidly shifting climate.
Wow. Yeah, when you look at those immediate forecasts, what really jumps out are these, well, striking predictions for Europe. We're talking well above average temperatures. Central, Eastern, Southern Europe, pretty much all covered. I mean, just in late June, parts of Spain, Huelva, I think, were already hitting an astonishing 46 degrees Celsius.
46, yeah.
And places in France, the Benelux countries, were like 10 to 14 degrees Celsius above the historical averages. That's huge.
It really is.
Even the UK is bracing for, what, 35 Celsius?
And that level of intensity, it immediately connects to the bigger picture. Like you said, these aren't just, isolated hot days popping up. The underlying driver often is this persistent blocking high-pressure system. You can sort of picture it like a dome of heat that just sits there and traps warm air.
A heat dome, yeah.
Which, naturally, makes you ask, why are these becoming so common, so stubborn? And the data shows Europe is actually the fastest warming continent on the planet.
All right, fastest.
Fastest warming, yeah. And get this, over something like two-thirds of its most severe heat waves since 1950. They've all happened since the year 2000.
Since 2000.
Yeah. And the human cost.
It's profound. Estimates suggest maybe 60, 70,000 heat-related deaths in Europe back in 2022.
70,000.
Between 60 and 70,000, yeah.
Yeah.
And nearly 48,000 in 2023. I mean, those numbers are truly sobering. Those numbers are devastating, just awful. So, okay, beyond the obvious discomfort, what are the real-world impacts, the sort of cascading effects you should know about?
Well, yeah, it's much more than just feeling hot.
Right.
These heat waves, they don't just strain public health systems, they absolutely crush agricultural productivity.
Agriculture, yeah.
Think about corn, grapevines, olives. They really struggle once you get above 40 degrees Celsius. And we also have to consider the disproportionate impact on, say, migrant farm workers who are often most exposed.
That's a really important point.
It is, and economically. These events can actually shave off maybe half a percentage point from Europe's GDP.
0.5%? That's significant.
It adds up. Plus, you've got the increased wildfire risk, obviously, and the huge strain on energy grids, leading to potential blackouts when everyone cranks up the AC.
Right. Okay, so that's the heat side. What about the other piece you mentioned, the storms in Russia?
Yeah, so turning to West Russia and the North Caucasus. While specific detailed storm forecasts for this exact July 4th, 13th window are less definite right now, the seasonal outlooks do point towards increased atmospheric variability, basically more unstable conditions.
Okay.
And we have seen significant precedents very recently. Like just last month, there was a level 3 risk issued for severe convective storms.
Level 3, that's the highest, isn't it?
That's the highest alert level, yeah. For dangerous thunderstorms. Warnings for tornadoes, large hail, the works. And back in April 2025, there was that hailstorm in Stavropol that reportedly destroyed wheat crops. So the potential is definitely there.
And you mentioned something about rain versus snow. How climate change affects that?
Yes. That's another crucial impact of the overall warming trend. It's becoming increasingly clear. Human-induced climate change is causing more of the precipitation, even in storms, to fall as rain instead of snow, especially in shoulder seasons or warmer winters.
Okay, rain instead of snow. So what does that actually do?
Well, it dramatically accelerates runoff. Snow melts gradually, right? Rain runs off immediately, so it significantly increases flood damages, even if the total amount of water, the total precipitation volume, isn't actually higher than historical norms.
That makes sense. Faster runoff, bigger flood problem.
Exactly. And this then leads you to think about the longer-term impact. In Russia, the number of damage-causing extreme weather events actually doubled between the 1990s and the 2010s.
Doubled. Whoa.
Doubled. And think about the melting permafrost up there, too. That's a huge, serious, long-term threat. It compromises critical infrastructure, pipelines, roads, buildings, making them inherently more vulnerable when storms do hit, or when flooding happens. It's like a compounding vulnerability.
So the storm risk isn't just about the storm itself, but how climate change is sort of making the ground beneath less stable, more fragile. That's a critical point.
Precisely. And all this, it really necessitates a fundamental shift in thinking. We just can't keep reacting to emergencies after they happen. We need proactive long-term adaptation. We need a really concerted effort to build resilience, across all sectors.
Okay, so bringing this all together then, what's the core takeaway from looking at these forecasts and reports?
I mean, the message seems pretty clear.
Yeah, it feels like. Extreme weather isn't some kind of anomaly anymore. It's rapidly becoming the new normal.
That's exactly it. Human-induced climate change is basically amplifying existing weather patterns. It's turning up the volume. And that leads to these complex, often interconnected hazards like the heat here and the storm potential there that we're seeing across Europe, across Russia, really across the globe.
Right. So the big question for you listening is, what does this new normal mean for your daily life? What about your long-term planning? How do you prepare for a world where these extremes are becoming, well, the expectation, not really the exception anymore? Maybe think about how climate change impacts your own local region, or even specific industries you follow or work in. Lots to consider. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.